Hi, my name is Fred, and I want to talk to you for a moment about meth, methamphetamine, crystal meth, and my personal experience with it. Um, you know, I have a long sort of history of using meth over extended periods of time, and during that period that I might have been using it, I would experience extended moments of sex that could last anywhere from hours to um, perhaps days of hunting for it. Um, Using meth made me unaware of what was really going on around me. I lost jobs. I lost respect. And I did things I wouldn't have normally done had I not been under the influence. Um, my meth use started in 1987, and I would sort of do meth periodically for about a 6-year period, and then I think it was around 93 when I was working in a nightclub and feeling a bit overweight, and somebody says, "Hey, why don't you use this? You could probably lose some weight." So there I was using meth one more time, and this time was a little bit different because I thought that maybe I could lose some weight, and I did. I lost quite a bit of weight actually, because one of the some people think it's a benefit, and others realize it's a side effect of meth is that you can lose weight in a very short space of time. And I think I went from maybe almost a size 38 waist to probably a 30 or less within months. It was really a quick process. And also forgetting to eat. I don't think it was that I wasn't hungry. I think I just would forget to eat. So I would go for long periods of time without food as well. I think that contributed to it. It's perhaps the only thing that, in my experience, that was instantly addictive. And when I associated sort of meth with sexual experiences, it took a turn, a very different turn. And my relationship with meth and sex became quite prominent in my life. Now, mind you, I haven't touched meth in over 15 years, and it took me a little while to experience sexual activities without the use of meth to where they were comfortable and fulfilling. The association was so strong that in my earliest recovery from meth, a short period of abstinence was required for me to sort of sort out my feelings and do some work around my personal issues and separate the idea of meth from sex. So that was definitely something that was a causation of using meth. I kind of think of it like this. In the meth world, meth addicts are referred to as tweakers, as a term. And there's different kinds of tweakers. There are sex tweakers, there are project tweakers. And sometimes people are sort of a bit of both. And I think I had that because I was also a nightclub DJ, and I would tweak out on my record playing to the point I would, in those days we didn't have digital or CDs or anything like that, so we used records, and I would mix the records, and my fingers would dig into the vinyl so much so that I would almost bleed by the end of the night because I was just imprinting the vinyl sides on my fingers. And because I was so out there, I could be playing to a crowd of nobody for many hours and not know the difference until the bartender, who also was a bit high, realized, "Hey, you know what? We've been closed for a while, Fred." And he lets me know that. And I go, "Okay." And then I'll stop, and it's 4 in the morning. So I have to say that defeating the addiction to methamphetamine is perhaps one of the greatest challenges of our time, and we have seen this epidemic grow globally, and there's been a lot of programs that were started as a result. Crystal Meth Anonymous, which is an offshoot of Alcoholics Anonymous, sort of an offspring in a sense, was developed because they saw an immediate problem in the local area back in '94, in the West Hollywood area. There was this sort of idea that meth had taken on a new life form, because it's very popular in the '70s under different names and things like that. But it sort of had this resurgence by the late '80s, early '90s, and it was quite obvious that it was a problem. And meth addicts would be in AA meetings, and they'd raise their hands, and the secretaries wouldn't call on them to speak. And when it was questioned, the secretaries would basically say, well, they disrupt the meeting, and so we don't call on them. And so these people who disrupted the meetings needed a place to go. So they sort of developed this Crystal Meth Anonymous idea. And again, it was sort of this immediate need, but over time it became a global phenomenon. And Crystal Meth Anonymous is all over the world, helping people with getting off of meth. It is definitely a sign of our times. It's a sign of how addiction can completely take over a person's life. And I think the interesting thing about meth is, like, there is this concept of how it will sort of hijack pleasure. I just read about this, or actually watched a TED Talk on it. And, I know about the idea of hijacking the brain, but this is a concept of hijacking pleasure. If you think about it, if sex is a pleasurable act, and once meth enters that picture, it is a pleasurable act with meth. So basically an act that can be performed without any drugs or other added stimulants is now associated with a drug, and it can really sort of take over a person's thinking. So in conclusion here, I will say on my account that I mentioned earlier, I'm sort of 15 years away from meth use, and I'm very relieved about that, to be quite frank. People can recover from it. It does require perhaps additional treatment, and I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all situation. I do believe that if a person's working with a meth addict, they're trying to sort of work out like this idea of helping a person create a different relationship with sex, then a different type of treatment plan would be necessary if in fact the person is in a treatment center for this addiction. So I hope that was helpful. And let me know your comments. All right, thanks.